today, Father, for the nation in which we live. With all of its flaws, with all of its difficulties, it's still the best place in all the world to live. And we praise your name for the freedom that we presently enjoy in our nation. We ask your choicest blessings to be upon those who are our leaders in this country. We especially pray for those who are leading us in Washington today. And we pray, God, that they would have wisdom in the choices, decisions that they make. We thank you, Father, for this body that's meeting here today to listen, to make choices and decisions for the betterment of this county. And we ask that you would bless them in their work together and bless this country. And we ask, God, that we would always look to you for guidance, for strength, for wisdom. And we pray in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. And amen.
Amen.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, join me humble and proud in pledging allegiance to our flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Dice?
Madam Chairman, the first item on the agenda is the adoption of the June 16, 2020 regular meeting minutes.
Madam Chairman, I'll make a motion that we adopt the June the 16th regular meeting minutes.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Gruber, seconded by Commissioner Ball to adopt the June 16th, 2020 regular meeting minutes. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The ayes have it.
Madam Chairman, we also have Mrs. Katie Shepard and Ryan Mitchell with the Extension Office. They wanted to come this morning and introduce themselves to the Commission.
Come on up to the podium and introduce yourself and tell us all about you.
Hi, I'm Katie Shepard. I started here in March, a week before COVID hit, and so I just wanted to come by and say hi. I am the new coordinator with the Baldwin County Extension Office. Those of you that don't know, we provide lots of research. We have lots of regional agents in the community. We're in the school system. But anyways, I look forward to getting to know each of you, and I brought someone with me.
Good morning,
Good
guys.
morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for having us. I'm Ryan Mitchell. I'm the Forestry, Wildlife, and Natural Resource Regional Extension Agent based out of Stockton, work in Southwest Alabama. So hopefully we'll be able to provide the most current science-based research for our landowners around and improve forest management and keep burning going on. So thanks for having us.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all for coming by and introducing yourselves to us. It's great to meet you, and I hope to be able to get to know more about you guys.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Madam Chairman, that moves us into our action items. We do have one item to be removed from the action item agenda. That is BC2. This is regarding the Fort Mims restoration. This is not an urgent item, and there are, after the discussion at the work session, we are gathering some additional financial information for that, and we'll bring it back at a subsequent meeting. So we're asking that be removed from the agenda.
All right.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion that we adopt our item B with our action items, with the exception of BC2.
Okay.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Ball, seconded by Commissioner Davis to adopt all action items. Is there any discussion before we vote on that? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All action items pass.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. That brings us down to our, let me flip to my page in 1 second. That brings us down to our presentations. We have one public hearing. It is DA1. This is case number LV20003. This is an alcohol license application for Circle K stores, doing business at Circle K store number 2704391. This is in Lillian, and that is a public hearing for alcohol license application.
Okay, is there anyone, wait, we need to
Open the
public hearing, yes, ma'am.
We will open the public hearing on case number LV-20003. Have my glasses on, make sure I got all them zeros in there. Is there anyone here from the public who signed up to speak?
No, ma'am.
None? So anyone from the public who would like to speak on this matter, this is the public hearing on this alcohol application permit. None? Okay. Close the public hearing.
Madam
Gentlemen?
Chairman, I make a motion, we approve case number LV 20003, alcohol license application for Circle K Store Incorporating, doing business as Circle K Stores number 270391.
We have a second?
Yes.
Madam Chairman, before I make a statement, I just
Sure.
want to get that number right. It's number 2704391.
That's correct. Number 2704391.
391.
A lot of numbers in there, I see that.
yeah.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Gruber,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Davis. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Ayes have it. Okay. Now we have,
The committee reports, Madam Chairman.
Yes.
First item is the EA1, payment of the bills.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes. Staff recommendations is that we pay bills of $12,885,688.86. With the exception of those vendors, Commissioners request to be pulled. I'm not aware of any being pulled. Of this amount, $9,602,422.81 is payable to the Baldwin County Board of Education, and $568,254.44 is payable to the Gulf Shores Board of Education for their portion of the county sales and use tax.
Madam Chairman, I second Commissioner Davis's motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Davis, seconded by Commissioner Ball. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Ayes have it.
Madam Chairman, the next item is the notification of interim payments, and the staff recommendation is as follows. Make the attached interim payments made by the clerk treasurer totaling $4,075,164.24, and make this part of the minutes.
Okay.
That brings us down to our discussion items. As you may recall from the work session yesterday, we have a couple discussion items. The first one was regarding the Catalan Fair Association discussion item. And that item is in front of you. It should have been at your seat when you came in this morning. And there are some dates that need to be solidified as far as the terms. And so, Madam Chairman, that is before you now.
Okay. As we discussed yesterday, are there,
Madam Chairman, I'd like to just leave the dates like it is, and we can renew the contract with the other stuff, but leave the date as originally, which would be, let's see, hang on just one second.
September 30th, 2022?
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's the date. And leave it at that date, because we still have time between now and then to do that. So I just like to make a motion that we do it that way.
We have a motion by Commissioner Gruber to leave the date as originally stated of September 30th, 2022, but to change the financial rent amount to $15,000 payable on October 1st of each year, excluding all the other parameters associated with that.
Madam Chairman, I'm going to second that motion just to make business flow.
You have a second on that motion?
We're going to get it to a vote, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Gruber, seconded by Commissioner Ball. Just want to make this clear that this is not changing anything but the rent amount to be more clarified as to $15,000 per year. Okay? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Okay.
Wait, is there any discussion? Let's back up.
Discussion, yes.
Let's back up.
Yeah,
I'm
we
sorry.
can do discussion.
I'm so sorry. Excuse me. Ahead of myself here. Must be that caffeine I drink. Okay, so we have a motion and we have a second. So is there any discussion on that?
If we could clarify what this motion says.
Okay. I believe,
Okay, what it basically, it renews the contract, then adds we're taking out the financial part of it, redoing that where we're dropping, the percentages, and we're just doing the $15,000
Well, the
You know,
contract has not been expired, so it's just
No, it hasn't
amending. It's
expired.
just
No, we
amending,
just-
You're amending the contract.
amending the contract.
Amending it, yeah. Yeah.
So make sure we have this clear. We're amending, this motion is to amend the contract to only change the rent amount to $15,000 payable on October the 1st of each year. And all these other things are redacted that have all the percentages and everything, so that the motion would be just to take that first sentence that's got the red, payable on October 1st of each year of the lease, and the rest of it would be removed. That's actually the only change that you're making to the
There's
contract?
actually 2 dates you got to put in there. You got to put in a termination date and you got to put in a new expiration date.
Okay, the
So
expiration
I mean, if
date,
it's going to be the same, then it's the same for
it's the
both.
same. So the only thing would be this is just an amendment.
Would be taking out where it says it's in the rental column. The annual amount of rent shall be $15,000 payable on October the 1st of each year. Then plus 15%, all that will be struck down to where it says agreement to the subject property. There's a paragraph there. That paragraph will be struck from the contract.
I thought we was, for some reason, correct me if I'm wrong, Wayne, I thought we was doing, so one motion and second is going to take care of all this. Yesterday, we was talking about voting on 2 separate things.
No, this is one.
Well, this
So now I'm
motion
gonna
is to
withdraw
modify the existing.
Brad, can I withdraw my
Now,
second?
just for clarification, Brad, before you, on the agenda item before you, you have three actions. One is to authorize the amendment to the real estate lease by extending the termination date of the lease by a date that has not been determined yet. The second item is approve the other amendments as indicated in the attached real estate lease, and the third item is authorize the chairman to execute the amended real estate lease effective July 7th, terminating on September, whatever date, whatever year. That's the 3 things that I think are before you now.
That's right. And the motion, though, that was made really just spoke to consideration in the lease. So it did not necessarily adopt all the changes referenced in the agenda item. So if your intent is to adopt the agenda item with the change consideration and the other terms as marked as attached to the agenda, then that motion would need to be amended accordingly.
Okay, well, I'll withdraw my motion, and so we need 3 separate motions, right?
The way the current recommendation is designed, yes, sir, that's the case.
Or he can make a motion to all of it in one sentence.
You could. You
It's
could.
up- it's
I
up-
thought that's what you did.
That's what I
I
was
thought that's
gonna
what
do,
you
is
said.
make
He said date. That's all he said.
What a date, well, and then, well, okay.
Okay, let's back up.
All right, let me amend instead of withdrawing,
Why
let
don't
me
you
amend.
restate what your motion
Okay.
is so that we can
My motion
understand?
is to leave the date on the contract as is, which was originally in the contract, the original contract where it expires next September. And then the next motion would be to strike from the record.
Wait, are you including it all in one motion?
I'm including it all in one.
Okay, the next
thing,
part of
so we
your
have one
motion.
So we
One
got
motion.
Okay.
One motion.
Okay.
And then the other one is to strike where it says rental, to take that percentages out and all this stuff, take that all out. And just have it so there's a $15,000 payment due in October the 1st of the lease year. Now,
So, Madam Chairman, I just want to reflect for the record, we've got a brand-new motion on the floor. There's no such thing as an amended motion. So we got a brand-new motion on the floor.
Okay. I understood his first motion to be the same as this motion, but maybe I heard it
Well, I
wrong.
didn't.
I
Okay.
didn't either.
So that's fine. So what we'll do is make sure I'm following procedures correctly,
I'm-
Brad. Okay, so,
We have a new motion
We have
on
a
the
new
floor.
motion?
Mhm, correct.
okay. So let me make sure I restate your motion correctly to make sure that I
do
understood
we
it.
get a new to state it? Yeah, if you don't mind a new. You got it? Or you can do it, either one, yeah.
This is the way I heard your motion, is that
Okay.
you made a motion to amend the contract to reflect the same expiration date as is in there,
Originally.
which is, the date is actually stated as September the 30th of 2022, okay? But you said the only change you wanted to really make was in the paragraph titled rent. And actually, the way it's presented to us right here is the way I understood you to say, is the very first sentence that says the annual rent shall be $15,000 payable on October 1st of each year of the lease. The rest of it is marked out and redacted. So all of that would go away. Is that your
That's
motion?
my motion.
Okay, so we have a motion by Commissioner Gruber to only change the rent portion of this contract, no other changes. Is that the
Correct.
way
That's what yes, that is the
our
motion that
attorney
he made.
understands and I
Correct.
interpreted it? With that being said, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second? Motion dies for lack of a second. Do we have any other?
Yes, Madam Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that we pursue the modification of the current agreement by replacing it with an agreement that identifies the changes in the payment and calculation schedule, and that it be for a 5-year period, just like the agreement that we have now, which was passed in 17 and completed through September 30th of 2022. I'd like for us to have I'm making a motion that we have an agreement that starts July the 7th, today or soon thereafter, and that it goes through September of 2025.
Okay, so your motion would be to change the expiration date of this. It would extend the current contract to the expiration date of September 30th of 2025, and the rent paragraph would read, the annual rent shall be $15,000 payable on October 1st of each year of the lease, and the rest of that paragraph would be struck.
That's right, because we're not modifying an agreement, we're creating a new one. We're operating
Well,
under the existing one. My
that-
motion is to create a new one, starting in July.
Okay, so
It
it's-
goes through the 25th with the provisions about finance.
We want to, how does that work?
So his motion was that we pursue that, and so what he's really saying is that the commission would take official action directing Wayne and myself to pursue a new lease with Catalan Fair that has the terms that he stated in his motion, which is ending September 30th, 2025, and with the lease, the consideration provisions being $15,000 annually.
So this is-
I believe that was the intent of
That's
your motion.
correct.
So this is to pursue because they have to agree as well, is that
Correct.
right? Okay. All
Well,
right.
yes, because
Would
they
they
have.
not have to agree if we modified the existing agreement?
Yes, any
Either way,
change to the,
either way.
any amendment to the existing agreement, both sides must execute in any new agreement.
Good.
As well.
Okay. So we have a motion to.
Second.
Okay, we have a second. The motion is to create a new contract to be,
One thing, you said they're going to extend it 5 years, so you're extending it. It won't be September, it'll be July because we're amending the contract this month.
Well, under his motion, it's a whole new lease agreement.
Yeah, but I'm saying, okay, but it'll be dated July, not September.
he stated,
It'll be the day that we adopted is the day that it'll go on to
no,
change.
it
Well-
just has an expiration date of September 30th.
Yeah, the only hard date is the expiration date of September 30, 2025 under his motion, because there is no start date until both sides agree to the lease.
Okay, but the day that they sign it would be the day then, right?
Yes, that's how the lease
That
would be drafted.
the new date.
More than likely.
That would be the
would
new expiration date, the day they sign it.
Well, it doesn't have to be. I mean, you can set a different expiration date, whatever you agree to. I mean, so if we were able to get this done in a month, it could be, you can set whatever expiration date you want to, is the easiest way. I mean, as long
It
as.
doesn't have to be contingent upon 5 years. It can be just a date.
Right. It could be 5 years and 2 months, whatever the
If the
parties
date
agree
is
to.
2025, which is the date you specified, September the
correct.
30th, 2025. Okay? So it'll have to be a completely new contract. We're just agreeing for you to pursue a contract, and those would be our terms,
Correct.
correct? So are we all?
Well, either or contract is completely new, because we're
Right.
striking out all the other language, and then.
That's true.
So this is a brand-new contract.
new
Either way we look at it, it's either to keep this date or change the date, and Commissioner Davis has made a motion to change the date.
Well, there are ways to amend contracts, I
Right.
believe, so it could be either or, but regardless, it results in a new terms. Okay,
Correct.
okay, and I'm looking for.
Yep, no, that's correct.
You the lawyer. Okay, that being said, we have a motion by Commissioner Davis, and we have a second by Commissioner Ball. Is there any discussion before we vote on this?
Yes, Madam Chairman, I'd like to point out that as Finance Chairman, I was either asked, told, or volunteered to go and deal and meet with the leadership of the Catalan Fair organization. I had 3 meetings. We discussed a number of topics. Many of the staff members, I had gotten information from them to be on board relative to what the agreement might include. There were 3 things that, in my opinion, as Finance Chairman, I had brought to the table that we would agree on. And those 3 things were that we would seek payment and get the Catalan Fair caught up on their payments because they were 3 years behind. We also wanted to deal with the verbiage that dealt with a net revenue, the thing that we're removing, because if that was the best way we could do it back then, that was horrible. Excuse me. And then thirdly was to determine a date going forward for this new agreement to do. We, in my discussions with the leadership, there were several things that they asked for that I said I cannot in good conscience go forward and ask the commission to approve. Those had to do with utility bills that were contingent on when they're using peak areas. I tried as a finance chairman to do my job as I thought I was being asked to. And then when I reported back, things got moved around. How they got moved around or by who really doesn't matter. I just want us to vote on what the finance chairman determined and the Catalan Fair agreed to do. Do note that they have paid $45,000, Mr. Sink, is that correct? And are caught up. There was another item where they'd done $18,200 worth of improvements with a slab. I agreed on our behalf, speaking on our behalf, that we would consider approving that once we got confirmation that it was a valid number and the work was done correctly. Mr. Sink is nodding because we got that as well. Something happened to the date. So that's the reason I'm making this motion now, because I think it's in our best interest as a county. And if there are people or organizations that have exceptions or problems with Catalan Fair, there are mechanisms to deal with that. And the agreement should not be held up by any of those other things. So I've talked a lot, but I'm standing by my motion that we need to have those 3 things agreed upon, or if not, somebody needs to explain to me why not.
Well, I approved the agenda, and when I saw the agenda, there was nothing changed on the date. I even contacted Mr. Sink and asked him. He said, I didn't put a date change in there because I wanted the commission to decide that date. That is the truth. So help me God. And so the agenda was published last week, about Wednesday or so, and that was my question, was I did not change anything. Mr. Sink, I'm not trying to put you on trial, but that was the way it was presented. Nothing was changed. Is that correct?
That's correct, Madam Chairman. The date was to be determined by the commission. I had no idea which year or what date you guys wanted to use.
So I failed to communicate that to you? Is that what you're saying?
Well, you said a couple of years in advance, and I wasn't sure that the whole body has got to determine which date you guys want to use.
Sure. A point of order. Our attorney, Brad. Does the chair have authority to approve an agenda, or are they merely required that we have an agenda? And if a committee member, i.e. the finance chairman, wants to make a motion, Does it have to be approved by the chair before it can come forward? I don't think so.
Does the chair have to approve the motion of another commissioner?
That's my question.
No, I mean, any commissioner can make a motion at any time.
So approving an agenda is really a misnomer.
Well, yes, I mean, none of y'all
Nothing
can
was changed.
singularly approve anything. I think it's probably more review an agenda than approve an agenda. Just looking at it for what went from the work session to here, but it's not like an approval as in what she says goes. I mean, it is all of y'all approve everything.
Sure.
I didn't suggest anything. I only read what was presented, the way it's presented in the software. You have an item, and it's no different than what's here. And all I do is click a button and say approve. But I do look at the agenda items just to make sure. The main thing is, errors in spelling and things like that. I just glance over it. And then I remember in conversation that you had mentioned that you wanted to add some time to the contract. So when I just read through it very briefly, I didn't read every word. I saw the redacted amounts that are in there. I mean, not amounts, the redacted verbiage. And then I looked back up there, the date was not redacted. And so I made a phone call and I said, you presented this item. It says it's presented by the budget director. And he said, yes. I said, was there a proposal to change the date? And he said, I'm going to leave that up to the commission to make up that determination. And that's where we're at today. So there is no changing on my part. I didn't make any changes whatsoever. Maybe I should have called you and told you, but a week ago, this could have been changed if we would have read the agenda item when it was published and was seen that it was not changed on the agenda item, but I didn't change anything. All I did was click a button that says approve.
Can I ask Brad a question real quick? Say, for instance, we change this date today for 5 years down the road. We can change it to anything else we want to, can't we?
At any time.
At any time.
As long as both sides agree, yes.
That's right. So, I mean, there's something in that contract that will allow us, if they don't perform again like they're supposed to, make a payment on time, that we have some kind of way to get out of this contract. Whether they agree on it, or is there something in there with some
Do we
teeth?
have an escape clause or something, or do they?
Well, anytime you have a lease, if the other side doesn't abide by the terms of the lease by paying, then yes, you can. Then you terminate the lease. Absolutely.
Madam Chairman, can I make a suggestion for in the future? It sounds like this morning we may have a miscommunication. In the future, I think it would be wise if there's a recommendation from a committee chair, i.e. the finance committee chair, that maybe should be part of the recommendation as recommended by the finance chair. Here are the terms.
Absolutely.
And I think that might clarify that, and I apologize for any miscommunication this morning, but I think that might be a wise way to travel in the future when we have issues like this. So it is coming from the person who did discuss with Catalan Fair. It is coming from that commissioner, that committee chairman of that particular committee. That may help kind of set the ball in motion and clarify some things. So just in the future, we can, if that pleases the commission, we can certainly do it that way in the future.
If I could, thank you, Wayne, for that. And I'll apologize to my colleagues. I'll apologize to the citizens that I didn't push as the chairman of a committee. But when you're asked or volunteered to take on a task and you do your job and you communicate it, I did not communicate it as well as I should have. That won't be a problem in the future because I'm still the finance chairman until November. And anything that I report, it'll be in writing to all four at the same time because we have a serious communication problem and we tend to duck behind the Open Meetings Act. Sharing information is not deliberation. But I can assure you the finance chairman is going to document everything I do in that capacity and share it with the other three as timely as possible. And the staff will be included, but they will be asked to any changes in the finance chair's report that it be discussed with the finance chair. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to add that anybody that presents an agenda item, whether it be a commissioner or whether it be a department head, when the agenda is published, you need to make sure that it's what you asked to be published, because between the time it's published and the time that we have a meeting, there are opportunities to correct that. Is that correct? Okay. So that being said, we have a motion, we have a second. Any more discussion before we vote?
Madam Chair, may I address Commissioner Ball's question? I've just pulled up the county's remedy provision of this lease, and it is kind of a custom remedy provision that is not like one I've ever seen or drafted before, and I'm sure there are reasons for that. It does not provide for eviction upon breach of the covenants of the lease. I think that that's probably allowed by law anyways, but there might be some additional, as we present a new contract, I might tweak some of that language to make it a little clearer that parties who don't live up to their obligations will be in breach of the lease agreement.
The whole problem we were in before was just financial problems. 3 years behind in lease. And so we're making a new contract, and I think that the Catalan Fair organization needs to understand that the problem that we have was because they didn't pay, and if they don't pay again, that we have to have something in that lease agreement, just like you would in any lease agreement, that says, hey, look, this is going to be terminated.
Correct.
And I would appreciate it if somehow or another we could draft up that language. But, I mean, Madam Chairman, with this being an item that, since there's so much discussing on now, that, I mean, would you recommend tabling this until we get this figured out?
Well, I mean, the motion as it stands now really just sends us forth to put together a new lease. So I think you're fine to give us that direction. It doesn't really accomplish anything except for directing Wayne and I to pursue that action.
Okay.
And so I think that's fine for this motion to go forward if it passes. But we'll have to come back to show you what we've actually created. So this will come up again before anything happens.
Well, let me, the original contract came out of negotiations over a long period of time, several years of working back and forth, trying to get this the way it is. And right now, I don't even think right now the board is completely full. They've had people that's passed away. They have never replaced any of the people on the boards. And so they got a kind of almost a defunct board because they don't have all the members that are required to have. I know of 3 of them that have passed away off of it and have never been refilled. I mean, and I just, and having the experience of going through what we did, and if you try to add something to this contract,
You're not ahead.
they're going to reject it.
Madam Chairman, I've got to disagree with my colleague. What was done previously was done previously. We're in a new era and a new setting. I had 3 meetings with the leadership and some of the board members. It appears that we have a hang-up about the board of Catalan Fair. To me, that is a separate topic.
It's not the board.
Well, you just commented about how many had died and
I'm
all
just
that.
saying,
Would you let me finish?
Go ahead.
My point is that we have an agreement with the Catalan Fair Board now, and we can improve that by issuing a new agreement, and we can address makeup of boards and who loves who and all that kind of stuff. We can address that in another discussion, but I'm trying to move us forward. They did what we asked them to do, and they caught up and paid us $45,000. We agreed to process a bill for $18,200 or so, about an improvement there. And being able to have an agreement that lasts longer than the end of the election year makes sense to me, because we had a 5-year agreement. Why it was 5, I'm not sure. I'm just saying let's have it for 5, and if we need to change it in the meantime, we can do that. But the agendas of other things dealing with Catalan Fair aren't germane to what I was asked to look into, and that was the financial aspects of it.
Okay, I'll make one more comment, not to go back to the past, but you said you didn't know why there was a 5-year agreement. The prior agreement was a 75-year agreement, and so this agreement was 5 years just to set more of a determinable end in case if you wanted to renew the contract. I actually have no problem with changing the language of the rent, but I feel like that we can always go back and negotiate an extension. That I prefer the current extension that's in the current contract because of just making sure that the performance is met. So that is my only comment. Any more comments before we vote?
Yes. What kind of performance are you talking about? You
Payment.
just referenced performance by them.
Payment.
They've done that. They've done what we asked them to do. They caught up. And we hope they will continue to.
Absolutely. But we can always extend the contract before more than 2 years are passed. So that's my comment. Anything else? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion signify by say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Aye. We have 2-2. Motion fails. Next item.
Madam Chairman, next item is the purchase of land from the City of Bay Minette Police Department Complex. The staff recommendation is to take the following action. Approve and authorize the chairman to execute the purchase agreement between the Baldwin County Commission and the City of Bay Minette for parcel number 2302090401-003.000 and parcel number 23-02-09-4-401-001.001 from the City of Bay Minette for $895,000 to be funded by the Law Enforcement Money Market Account and the Sheriff's Department.
Madam
Madam
Chairman.
Chairman, the Sheriff's here this morning.
Oh, he's going to speak.
Sheriff's here if you have any questions or you'd like to make any comments.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Good morning.
Good morning.
Appreciate once again the Commission's support in this endeavor. As you know, and as I stated in work session yesterday, this is the first tier of a 4-tier project, which ultimately will result in Tower B being built on the jail expansion, which the Commission has already previously approved to go into that project, expanding our inmate space and operational efficiency at the Corrections Center. The purchase of the city property will allow the office at 310 Hand Avenue to be moved out into that municipal complex, and then the building that is presently on Hand Avenue will be torn down, and in that footprint is where the new jail construction will take place. So that's why it is necessary to go ahead and move forward with this. As always, our partnership with the County Commission is to do everything that we can. As Mr. Dice stated, we were able, over the past series of years, to set aside some money that we collected on fees, on some forfeitures, and on some other items, and we're going to reimburse the county that $895,000 from that money market account to partner in the purchase of this as we move forward.
Okay, thank you.
Great. Madam Chairman, I make a motion that we approve staff recommendation for item FE2.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Ball, seconded by Commissioner Davis to approve item FE2 on the purchase of the land from the City of Bay Minette. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Ayes have it. Okay. Next on the agenda,
Madam Chairman, next is our commissioner requests.
any commissioners have any items they would like to request? I do have one that's in front of you. I'll go ahead, and I think you have a draft of a letter here. And would you like me to read this letter?
I would just, if you don't mind, Madam Chairman, can we just explain it?
Yes. The letter that we have before us is a letter to Governor Ivey and to Dr. Scott Harris, the state health officer, and Brian Hastings, our Alabama EMA director. This is just asking that we get more testing sites in Baldwin County available, specifically through the Alabama Department of Public Health, that would provide to give some relief to some of our urgent cares and our emergency rooms. I spoke with different ones yesterday. There's been a lot of desire for that to happen. There are certain areas that are a little overloaded due to the rise in the positive cases of COVID-19 in Baldwin County. And this is just simply a request that would be made from the entire county commission, not from one of us. It's on behalf of the county commission. And so that is really all it is a request to try to get more testing sites. There are different parts of the county that are experiencing overloads from the private testing sites, and we would like to request some more sites for the health department to do public testing. I believe it's only on Tuesdays and Thursdays by appointment only right now in just a couple locations. Is that correct? I have some nods.
Madam Chairman, I would make a motion to accept this letter and send it, but what I would like is for all four of us to sign it.
That'll be fine. We'll actually
good.
put everyone's signatures on here.
Right.
Not a problem.
All right. So that's my motion is to, I'd like to make a motion that we accept this letter, send it to the governor, Dr. Harris and Brian Hastings, with the change that all four commissioners will sign it.
Absolutely. Not a problem with that. This is just how staff had drafted this. It's not a problem. Okay?
If that's a motion, I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion to send this letter on as written, only to change that we all four sign it as commissioners. So we have a motion by Commissioner Ball, second by Commissioner Davis. Any discussion?
Yes, ma'am. I would like for us to find out how many counties only have 2 testing sites by the state. If we're the 4th or 5th largest county in this state.
Oh, we only have one right now? Okay, it's been dropped back to 1
We have one testing site.
in Robertsdale. So we really need a site.
Well, there's something about fairness and equity that has to come into play at some point. And we're the only county of any size that does not have a dominant city. Well, that's by design, and our 14 cities and towns are what make us unique. But we should not be penalized because we don't have a big city. Because Tuscaloosa, Etowah County, some of those counties that are dominated by a city, I dare say they have way more than 2 public testing sites. So I'd like some information provided to us that tells where these sites are in other parts of the state. And it's not to throw rocks, but it is about fairness and equity. And if we've got 212 plus thousand people, 1 or 2 sites is woefully lacking. And we need that changed, and we need that changed as soon as possible.
That's why I hope this letter works.
Hope it helps. I hope it helps. Okay? All right. Okay. Then we have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. We'll get this letter ready for all 4 to sign as soon as our meeting is over. If y'all can make the changes to put the area for the signatures. Thank you very much. We have a wonderful staff here. Okay. Are there any other commissioner requests?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
None. None? Okay. Any addenda?
Madam Chairman, we have several addendums. The first addendum, and these are all should be at your desk or on your laptop. The first one is a right of entry agreement for the Baldwin County Economic Development Alliance. The staff recommendation is to authorize the chairman to execute a right of entry agreement between the Baldwin County Commission and the Baldwin County Economic Development Alliance to grant permission for the BCEDA, its employees, agents, or contractors to enter the property and begin relocating its furniture, fixtures, and equipment, setting up its office, and preparing to occupy the property under an amended lease. 2, and then also the term of this agreement shall be from the date of which this agreement has been executed by both parties and terminate on July 21st, 2020.
Okay. We have a motion?
Yes, ma'am. I make a motion that we accept item HA1.
And I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Ball and seconded by Commissioner Davis to accept addenda item HA1. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Madam Chairman, next item is HA2. This is a space allocation for the Fairhope Courthouse, the second floor. The staff recommendation is to take the following action regarding the Baldwin County Satellite Courthouse and the courthouse campus in Fairhope in the city of Fairhope, Alabama, and pursuant to the authority granted to the Baldwin County Commission by Act Number 11-3-11, Code of Alabama. And without limitation, adopt Resolution 2020-100 of the Baldwin County Commission, which designates the rooms to be occupied in the Baldwin County Fairhope Satellite Courthouse, and further to authorize the space allocation in offices applicable to the Baldwin County Fairhope Satellite Courthouse campus. And the resolution is attached.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion that we accept staff recommendation on item HA2.
And I'll second that.
Okay. Commissioner Ball made the motion, seconded by Commissioner Davis to accept agenda item HA2. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Madam Chairman, next item is HA3. This is the Go Rail Joint Letter to Congress. This was discussed at the work session yesterday, and the staff recommendation is to authorize the chairman to execute correspondence to the Surface Transportation Board, STB, with a copy to the members of the House Transportation and Senate Commerce Committees in support for continued balanced economic regulation and calls for no additional requirements for the freight rail industry.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion that we adopt item number HA3.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Gruber, seconded by Commissioner Ball to adopt addenda item HA3. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
May we comment on that for the
Yes.
general public?
Yes, sir.
As you know, as we grow, there are all types of methods for us to distribute goods and to have goods coming in and coming out. And we do not want anyone to forget rail as one of the ways to do it. And Commissioner Gruber's had a long history with working with this and kind of brought it to our attention. And I think it behooves all of us to recognize that rail is a key way to move goods in and out, as well as land and trucks and, of course, airplanes. So I commend Commissioner Gruber for calling this to our attention, or at least that's what I felt, that he called it to our attention. And I think it's something we certainly need to do, and you all need to support it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next item.
Madam Chairman, next item is HA4. This was also discussed at the work session yesterday by the sheriff. It is an intergovernmental support agreement between the Naval Air Station, Whiting Field, Florida, and the Baldwin County Sheriff's Office for conducting emergency vehicle operations course at the outlying airfield in Silver Hill. Staff recommendation is as follows: to approve the intergovernmental support agreement between the Naval Air Station, Whiting Field, Florida, and the Baldwin County Sheriff's Office, allowing for the NASWF to provide a space on unused taxiways, runways at the Naval outlying field in Silver Hill for the Baldwin County Sheriff's Office to conduct emergency vehicle operations course training. This agreement shall be for one federal fiscal year from the last date signature on this agreement, and renewable for successive one-year option periods for 9 additional years. The IGSA may be terminated unilaterally by either party upon 60 calendar day written notice to the point of contacts designated in the IGSA.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion that we accept staff recommendations on item HA4.
And I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Ball, seconded by Commissioner Davis to accept addenda item HA4. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
Madam Chairman, the last item is HA7. This is a request from the Baldwin County Judge of Probate for Saturday openings for their probate offices located at Minette and Robertsdale, Foley, and Fairhope. Staff recommendation is as follows: to approve the request from the Baldwin County Judge of Probate, the Honorable Harry Doleave, to authorize the opening of the probate offices in Bay Minette at Courthouse Square, Robertsdale Central Annex, and the Foley and Fairhope satellite courthouses on Saturdays in order to allow the probate office to be opened to the public on 2 Saturdays, July 11, 2020 and July 18, 2020, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. Madam Chairman, just as a little more information, I think they're going to do it on the 11th. If that goes well, then they're also going to do it on the 18th also. So we included both dates in here for your item.
What, you mean 16th? 11th and 16th? You said 18th.
18th.
11th and the 11th, there's...
Yep.
11th
You said
and the
16th the
18th.
first time, the 18th second time.
I'm sorry.
Hey, I do the same thing
The item
sometimes.
says the 18th. But Madam Chairman, I think this is in an effort to try to get some of the backlog taken up. They've been, as you all know, they've been very busy with lots of phone calls and people coming in with the appointments, and I think this is a way for them to try to relieve some of the backlog on that.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion, we adopt staff's recommendation for opening up of the courthouse on Saturdays, the 11th and the 18th.
I'll second that.
Madam Chairman, before we take a motion, I'd like to discuss.
Yes.
I just want the public to realize that this is just two specific dates, and sometimes we'll overlook that and we'll think the probate office is opening up on Saturdays now. So it's just for these two specific dates, the 11th and the 18th, and then we'll see where we go from there. But I just want the public to know that we're not opening the probate office in Bay Minette on Saturdays. It may be a misperception of somebody watching the meeting, so just wanted to call that out.
Well, and actually, the probate judge is the one that opens those offices. We're merely the landlords of the buildings, is what it amounts to.
Okay, so the 11th and the 18th. All right. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of addenda item HA7 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Madam Chairman, that's all the addendums.
All right. Back over here to do we have any administrative report?
No, ma'am.
County attorney. Hold on, let me flip the page. The computer signed off on me, so I flip the paper. Now we're down to public comments. We have anyone signed up to speak for public comments?
Madam Chairman, yes, I do. I have one person who signed up to speak, Mr. Mark Bird.
Mr. Bird, if you'll come up to the podium and state your name and why you're here.
Don't be afraid, I'm not, you need to read this.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much.
Madam Chairman and Commissioners, appreciate you taking the time to listen to some of the concerns from your community. My name is Mark Bird. I'm a property owner, landowner, resident of Baldwin County. And I'm here also representing some nearby landowners over on County Road 12 and near County Road, or on County Road 65 near County Road 12, as well as, and that would be Catherine Scott, Jeff Fields, Greg Kaiser, Matt Sheffield, and then also here representing the HOA president, Adam Papuga, with the Riverside subdivision, and also the family in West Darwin that have the Foley Oaks RV Park on County Road 65. So my purpose is to raise concern regarding a planned outdoor gun range on a small parcel of land nestled between all of us that we just recently learned about when a sign went up out in front of the property. The location's on County Road 65, just north of County Road 12. I have nothing against gun ranges. I fully support the Second Amendment. I'm a member of the NRA, the National Skeet Shooting Association, National Sporting Clays Association. I'm an Alabama pistol carry permit holder. I hunt. I've shot literally thousands of rounds of skeet and sporting clays over the last few years. I'm currently a member of 3 gun ranges in our region. And if it matters, I'm a lifelong Republican. So I bring this up because there's kind of a disinformation campaign underway right now to discredit anyone that might be opposed to this gun range. So my comments have nothing to do with the Second Amendment. My comments have to do with the health and safety of my family and of the neighbors that are around me. So I've handed each of you a packet that has a lot of details regarding our concerns. Don't expect you to look through those now. Those concerns include safety, our health, environmental impacts, and also business and property impacts. And you're welcome to look through that later. I've also handed out just a few slides that simply show this area for the purpose of my comments today. So the first slide, if those don't have it, this is just a drone picture of the area in question. The red bounded area is the proposed gun range, and then you can see the other property owners and subdivisions and RV parks and developments that surround this, this proposed gun range. So on the first slide, the concerns stem from the size of this planned gun range, its immediate proximity to its neighbors, including those immediately in the line of fire behind its backstops to the west, and the geographical configuration of the site. All the gun ranges that I belong to share a few common traits, the outdoor gun ranges. They're on large parcels of land, usually hundreds of acres, if they allow shotgun shooting. They're remotely located to residential developments. They have substantial backstops behind their fire lines. And they have large, dense, forested buffers, both behind the backstops to give a second line of defense in case, an errant bullet makes its way past their backstops, and forest buffers around the gun range to surround the neighbors from the chronic and unhealthy noise levels that are generated from the activity. So if you look at the second slide, this is a Google Earth picture of the area in question. It basically shows all of the developments immediately around this gun range, the other property owners and the businesses that are immediately around this range. And shows that, within an eighth of a mile, you have subdivisions, adjacent to this gun range, including a 60-slot RV park. Within a quarter of a mile, you encompass 2 more subdivisions. Within a half mile, you're starting to cover a lot of subdivisions and a lot of people. And within 1 mile, again, getting into more subdivisions. Just to give you an idea, a standard 9mm pistol shot can carry up to 1.2, 1.3 miles. A typical rifle, 223, 5.56, 2.3 miles. Higher powered rifles, 3.5 miles plus. So that's what we're concerned about is, what might be behind these backstops that could get in the way or could be harmed by this thing. So the site, again, I mentioned is just over 10 acres. However, a lot of that's unusable. There's a large Alabama Power Company main trunk line right-of-way that dissects the property, and there's a wetlands area on the property. So I don't know exactly what the remaining parcel is, but probably somewhere around 6 acres would be my guess. It sits in the middle of several residential developments with a full 60 RV site, or RV park site on its north border. 103 home subdivision immediately across County Road 65 to its east, and another large development under construction just north of the Riverside subdivision. It has rural residents immediately beyond planned shipping containers that would become target backstops with no forest buffer. This is all wide open farmland, of which some has been subdivided into some rural residential parcels, and that's the ones that most of us have purchased and are building homes on. So for instance, on the third slide, here's a picture of my parcel. And that's the activity that's on my parcel. So this right here is this little girl and these little boys out there just using their property. That's all they're doing. The land on this site falls approximately 25 feet from County Road 65 down to the Turkey branch of the Montecrist River. It falls within probably 200 feet, so it's a pretty steep fall coming from County Road 65, crosses Turkey Creek, and then comes back up 30 feet on the other side to where all of the rural residential neighbors and farms exist. And so these are the families that'll be in the direct line of fire behind these backstops. From what information I've been able to gather, the plan is to have sea containers, or the large containers, stacked too high along the backstop. Now, depending on the sea containers you buy, that adds 17 to 19 feet. You've got a 25-foot hole. So if someone were just sitting back where it looks like the rifle positions would be, they would be looking directly over the sea containers, right onto all of these property, right onto all these homes. There'd be a large gap in the containers where the Alabama right-of-way is, Alabama Power right-of-way is. And hundreds of acres of farming also occurs on this land right behind it, with dozens of farmers that are out there every day in these fields working, as well as a crop duster that I see out there every morning that's flying and spraying those fields. All of us immediately west of this range that are in the line of fire will live in constant fear of our family members being harmed from an errant bullet. In fact, it's already happened twice, just since the landowner purchased the property. The range website says they'll also have skeet shooting. I'm an avid skeet shooter. Anytime a shotgun sports means that you're throwing targets in the air and you're shooting those targets. Typical shotgun loads, like a 7.5 load will travel about 208 yards, so over 600 feet. There's no place on this property for that kind of activity. I'm sure they're not going to shoot towards the RV park. I'm sure they're not going to shoot towards County Road 65. I own the property on the other two boundaries of this, so my assumption is they're planning to shoot over onto my property. This also means that they would be shooting directly into the Turkey Branch of the Bon Secours River, which runs behind this property on my property. And so a lot of lead headed that way too. Dozens of neighbors sit immediately adjacent to the firing lines and hundreds more just across the road. These neighbors will have to endure the constant loud gunfire, 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. Downrange neighbors have to endure the noise as well, and while shipping containers may attenuate some of the noise in certain directions, when you're shooting over the top of them, it doesn't attenuate anything. Typical gun range fire can be heard for over 2 miles, and even up to a mile, the levels of a typical gun are above the OSHA 8-hour weighted average of 85 decibels. These are going to happen, 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. Further, given the predominant south winds, the RV park will suffer lead dust from gunfire from the shooting range, and probably more gun dust than even the shooters that are out there participating in the activity. Most of the rifle and pistol shooting will also be in the direction of the creek and against the Turkey Branch, the Bon Secours River. And as I mentioned before, any skeet shooting would produce lead directly into the Turkey Branch of the Bon Secours River. The RV park, I can only imagine, probably going to be run out of business. I mean, they're right next to this thing. People come there to have a quiet place to enjoy Baldwin County. This place is chock-a-block full. Very quiet residents, very nice residents, but I can imagine, once 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, shooting starts, that RV park's going out of business. There's a family back here that's just made a huge investment in that park. Neighbors in the subdivision also likely lose home values. I mean, they're going to try to move out. I mean, there's going to be constant noise. Home prices are going to suffer. And the developers currently building are going to experience exactly the same thing. And this is in a development corridor of Foley and Baldwin County. Developments are going in left and right down this thing and totally surround this thing. So it's only a matter of time before, this all becomes residential development through there. I understand this is an unzoned parcel of land. It's the oddest thing I've ever seen. Everything is zoned entirely around this thing except for a quarter-mile strip on the west side of County Road 65, where this property, my property, resides.
Don't want to interrupt you. I just want to ask about that real quick. I'm trying to get a location. You said everything's zoned around it. Is it between a municipality and the county?
The city of Foley comes up on the east side of County Road 65, where all these developments have been built.
Okay.
Then there's a quarter-mile strip that's unzoned, and then you get into the farm fields. It's all zoned county.
Is it? Okay, so there is a zone district of the county that is right beyond
right adjacent
that?
on the other side. So
It's unzoned.
No, it's
It's unzoned.
okay, it's unzoned.
The quarter-mile strip, that's correct.
Okay, we'll come back to that in a moment.
Yep,
I'm just
okay.
was trying to get a visual. Okay, keep going. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay, so, the commission here, whether it's zoned or unzoned, I mean, I'm assuming this commission represents all landowners and residents of Baldwin County. And so we're just soliciting your help. While I fully understand, this property owner can likely build a gun range on this site, doesn't mean that they should. The rights of safety of one landowner shouldn't be compromised or taken by another, and especially when it endangers, our family's health and safety. So an indoor range at this location may be a lot more suitable, but an outdoor range on this small parcel where it's located is not. There's much better locations with far fewer life safety risks than this location for an outdoor range. So we have the right to keep our families safe, and we're just soliciting your help to get the right folks involved to properly review this situation. And I'm happy to take questions, and I thank you for your time.
Okay, this is really the first time I've heard this information. I need to get our staff and our attorney to look into this and to investigate exactly all I know is that if it is unzoned or zoned, that makes a huge difference in anything that we have any type of control over. Now, there may be other remedies. We'll have to look into that. I'm not sure. I have no really idea right now until we have an opportunity to look into it and to investigate it. And I would hope that our staff will do that for us.
Commissioner.
Okay,
you still have one person
hold on
to
just a
speak.
moment. Hold on just a moment.
We have another person trying to speak as well, just.
Okay, well, I'll allow,
Okay.
I will.
Address all the assumptions in the question.
Well-
Whenever it is done.
Hold on just a moment, okay? Mr. Byrd, did you have any more comments you'd like to make?
No, not at this time. Again, we're asking for your help, for a proper review of this situation. And as I mentioned before, I'm sure that she has a right to do what she wants to do there. But
Well,
putting my family in the line of
while you've been
fire is-
talking, I'll be honest with you, I asked staff and they said, we need to look into it, we need to investigate, give us some opportunity. So
you.
that
I appreciate it.
I could ask them right now, but that's what I just got back, okay?
Thank you.
Wasn't trying to ignore you by doing that, but I was trying to save a little time. Thank
We
you, sir.
appreciate your preparation and your presentation.
Thank you. Who's our
We
next
do.
person signed up to speak?
Madam Chairman, next we have Mrs. Catherine Scott.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you for taking the time to hear us, neighboring owners to the proposed gun range that is under construction. I represent a 20-acre parcel that is just to the west of this gun range. I am in the process. As a retired FBI employee, I bought my 20 acres as a family compound. My daughter was relocating from Oklahoma to join me here in Alabama in my retirement. She has just recently moved from Oklahoma to Alabama. We have done our, not permitting, but our floor plans, and all of our architectural drawings are in process. Those drawings are a week away from being finished with electrical and plumbing. On the diagram I gave you, I'm showing you two big squares. So if you look to the north of where Frank's place at the farm is shown, and I realize the name has recently changed, we are building 2 homes. Both of those homes are in the direct line of fire. On May 24th, the gun owner and her daughter were doing target practice. Those gun pellets went beyond their property, beyond Mark Bird's property, beyond my property, and actually landed on Jeff Field's property. If you look at the very top right-hand corner, you can see his barn. They landed at his feet. Now, we have not gone out with a metal detector to try to uncover the bullets. Our intention is to do so, but we all need to bush hog again to do that effectively. I cannot, in my right mind, begin to send a contractor or my family members to our property to do any work. We cannot continue to put in our well. We cannot continue to put in our septic tank. We can't continue with the slabs to build our homes because we are in a direct line of fire. It only takes one bullet. Or is the county, is the gun owner willing to take the risk of that bullet harming any of us that surround them? I, again, believe in gun rights. I believe in the Second Amendment. I do not believe an outdoor gun range on less than 10 acres, because they can't use all of it, is appropriate. And anybody that's using common sense would know that it's not appropriate. So we're looking to you, our Councilman Gruber, to try to help us find what is necessary to really look at the safety of this situation, and why does her rights to own her land in the unzoned part of the county trump my rights to build our family homes in the unzoned part of the county? I was there first. Just because you don't see the buildings yet, I own my property before she did. I'm looking for help. She has put on her sites that she has obtained permits. I cannot find any governmental agency that's acknowledged those permits have been issued. I'd like to know what they are and what they cover. So for that, I'm asking for your help.
Thank you. We, like I told Mr. Byrd, we will look into this and investigate to see if there's anything can be done. And I say that from, sometimes this is something that it may not be something we can do other than say we feel for everybody, but we want to try to explain some things, maybe from our staff may be able to help explain to people who live in this area, maybe some remedies that might be able to help you moving forward, but I don't know about this until it gets investigated. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madam Chairman, that's all we have signed up to speak this morning.
Okay. Being that that's all that signed up to speak, I will give anyone else that has an opportunity to speak. If you're speaking on the same subject as we've already heard, I would like for you to make your comments very limited. If you're someone else that, if you have a different comment, then I'll give you an opportunity to speak. Come forward to the podium. Okay, we'll give you a chance.
I am Jeanette Pridmore. My son and I, West Darwin, own the Foley Oaks RV park that is in question or mentioned.
Okay.
And we do have 60 spots. Most of them, 90% are permanent. Also, 85% of them are retirees. We are very concerned about their safety and well-being, and we have called the Sheriff Department 2 times, and they have responded because of target practicing already with the owner and the daughter. So we very much appreciate your diligence and concern in this matter, because we know that you're here to serve the community, and we are too in our own ways. So we all need to work together on this.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm the HOA president across the street at Riverside, representing approximately 105 owners. A lot of them are retired over there. About 70% of the people in there are retired, and the noise of it is in question in our property values.
Thank you.
So,
thank you.
okay.
Anyone else? Are y'all all speaking on the same behalf? Is that you're against this? Okay, I would like, since we allowed Mr. Byrd, was he representing you? Okay, I'll go ahead and let you say something, but after that, if you're all being represented by Mr. Byrd, we'll move on to the next comment, okay?
All right, my thing is we were out the day they were target practicing. We were out in the yard, my daughter and my granddaughter, and the kids were out cleaning the boat. We were cleaning fish, and literally bullets were zooming over our head. We could hear them whistling over our head, and not too long after that, one hit within 10 feet of me.
Okay, so you're the one that has the
Yes,
property.
my name
beyond
is
it.
Jeff Fields. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
So that was, I mean, and I'm a gun owner, love guns, deer hunt, everything. I just want everybody to be safe about it.
I don't think that's necessarily a subject of guns. It's just, I think that's just a subject of what you guys are asking is that, you know, I think we understand very much. We're going to look into it, okay? Thank you so much. Okay. If Mr. Byrd has represented your thoughts, I would like to thank y'all. And if I don't want to, honestly, if you really want to speak, I'll let you speak. But if he's already said what you mean for the sake of keeping our meeting going, I would appreciate it. Please know that we all 4 have emails. Send us your emails. Let us know. Call us. Whatever you want to do. But what we really need to do is let our staff look into this and get back to us and help us, and we will look into it as well. Okay. I lost my train of thought. Okay. I think, Lydia, you wanted to speak. I'll give you an opportunity to speak. I didn't recognize you when I walked in.
I know, that's what I hate about the mask.
He's hiding from me. I'm just kidding.
I probably have the lines on my face. So my name's Lydia Franz, and myself and my daughter, Caitlin, actually own Destinations Development, which is the development company that I created in order to, with the intention of identifying opportunities to serve South Baldwin community by filling the need for highest and best use projects that are currently underserved or non-existent within our community. The inspiration for the range came from my personal desire to do something that I enjoyed doing, yet have been unable to do for quite some time, which is shoot my guns. I have not met Ms. Pridmore before, but I have met her son, Wes, who runs the RV park next door, and he knew that we were planning on doing a shooting range. The plans have changed about 14 times, but they are fully engineered plans. There are a number of great noise abatement techniques and containment techniques that are all in the NRA Range Development and Operations course, which I completed this weekend. So we're making some final tweaks. We haven't, we've got the site layout done, and it does have a 130-foot power line easement that kind of runs across that southeast to west boundary, which is great because you got a natural 130-foot buffer that, no, we're not going to be using. We're planning on digging down, which is also a noise abatement technique as well as a containment technique. The double stack shipping containers will actually be filled with dirt, which is, the backstop and side berms. The recommendation for side berms on an NRA outdoor course is only 8 feet and the backstop 20. And so we're exceeding that quite a bit and going to do internal bays, stick-built internal bays and backstops additionally to help with lead collection. So I've already talked to, I think her name was, can't remember if it was Dottie. Yeah, at ADM. She was super sweet. She works in the water division. So one of the problems that you have with lead collection and being an environmental hazard is being able to just collect it because based on terrain, and you definitely don't want it going into any water. But there's all you have to do is keep the soil level, the pH between 6 and 8, which you can do with simple farming techniques. And that causes the lead not to break down in between the time that it falls within the shot fall area and the time that it's collected. So there's a lot of really cool stuff that we can do to make this work and keep everything contained within the parameters of the property lines. And that's exactly how we plan on doing it.
Okay.
So just one more thing I wanted to add. The wetlands areas in question, there is a freshwater pond right there on 65, which is completely overgrown with invasive species. So it's not really a pond at the moment, but we're planning on cleaning that up and removing the invasive species. And what I'd like to do is actually have an internship program with ADM and Auburn to be able to monitor those water levels since they are non-jurisdictional and do not flow out to any navigable or flowing body of water. So that gives a really good opportunity to keep an eye on that and for students and interns to be able to apply those practices in real world application. And then as far as the Turkey Branch, which is not on my property and it's really more of a drainage ditch, it doesn't go anywhere to the south. That's also non-jurisdictional, but our shot fall area will be well away from that.
Okay. If Mr. Byrd or whoever wants to be the contact person, and if Lydia, obviously, I'm
get with our staff,
so that we'll know who to get back with. Okay?
Yep.
Thank you very much.
May we ask
You most certainly may.
Lydia, a couple of questions. Is this the first gun range you've been a part of developing?
So far, yes.
Okay. And how long have you owned that property?
Since April 1st last year.
Okay.
So it's, obviously when you're trying to, you guys know it takes a while to get development plans done, drainage. Obviously, the site will still be responsible for all its own stormwater retention. And as I said, I want it, you can do an environmental stewardship program, which the EPA actually has a whole 130-page document in addition to the 110 pages of the environmental stewardship plan that are provided through ADEM and the EPA. And I get along great with everybody at ADEM. I mean, it's all about working together. So,
one more question: if this is not in existence, and it's not now, Where do people in this area go? Where's the nearest place they can go to fire guns?
Stapleton, Styx River, the only ranges there are in all of Baldwin County are all north of I-10.
Okay.
I don't know of one in well, the one in Robertsdale is a pig farm, and that's still actually north of I-10. I've been there. And there's no real actual safety measures put into place there, or any type of noise abatement or structural containment methods other than piles of dirt and old tires.
All right, then let me ask a question. I'm not picking on anybody, certainly not you. Because this is in the works, you can go to your property now and fire guns?
Yes, but we actually quit doing that after we had a gentleman from the RV park come over into the line of fire. We weren't, and I called the sheriff too, we weren't pointed in their direction in any way, but he came over and was yelling at me and my daughter and cussing at us and telling us to get off of my land. So that's when I called the sheriff's department. So then we moved the target down the hill, and then when that didn't work out so well, that's when the shots ended up going up to past Mr. Bird's property, and then we stopped shooting. So we haven't shot anything up there again until we finish getting our plans.
So a continuation.
Okay.
If I live in a place that has covenants and restrictions that does not allow guns to be fired, then that gets addressed. In this either unzoned or whatever status it's in, then property owners that live around you could do the same thing in their property?
Can. Yes, they can.
And in this day and age, that is extremely scary. Thank you.
Okay.
I'd just like to add, that's exactly why we do need a professional, engineered, well-built range within a reasonable drive time of the 121,000 Baldwin County residents that this is within a 30-minute drive time of. And one of our primary focuses is going to be on safety classes, especially for women and families.
Okay.
I've got one question. Have you got all your permits?
I have my 8M and my county highway turnout permit. We haven't done building permits because we haven't finished the building plans. We don't actually have to have a site plan approval, but everything has already been run by the highway department and the sheriff's department. We're just not done with our vertical backstop plans and all of that, but technically we are completely unzoned. I don't have to be here to answer any of these questions.
Well, you still have to have a building.
I want to be responsible, and I obviously want to be, proactive in communicating with the surrounding neighbors.
Okay.
You still have to have a building permit, though.
Oh, yeah, we just haven't finished the building plans yet. We could do all the outside stuff. We just, but we want classroom space. So originally the building was planned to only be 1,500 square feet. So that's got to be changed because we want to have enough room to be able to have class space.
Okay.
I am the daughter. I introduce myself. My name is Turner. I am, part owner of the property as well, and I plan on doing the safety courses and the NRA courses as well, and becoming a safety instructor. And I just wanted to introduce myself to y'all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you guys for coming. And if
Mr. Bird raises his hand.
can you make it brief, please?
I just want to clarify one.
We can't hear you on the camera.
You got to come up here.
I just wanted to clarify yet another inaccurate comment that was made that Turkey Branch doesn't go anywhere. Turkey Branch is part of the headwaters of the Bon Secour River. There's a Bon Secour watershed management plan that's identified this tributary as a problem. It's a area of concern. It's on EPA's 303D list.
Yes, sir.
It does flow, and it flows quickly, I can tell you, through my
Our
property.
staff really gives us a lot of good maps on that. We appreciate your comment. Okay? All right. That being said, to make sure everyone's comments have been conveyed by one of the two sides. Okay? All right. Anybody else from the public have any other comment that doesn't pertain to this shooting range that you would like to make a comment for? Okay. Next item would be, is there anybody from the press that would have any questions for the commission? Commissioner comments. Who wants to start?
I have 4 start.
Commissioner Cooper.
Okay. I'd just like to thank staff for getting us where we're at today with the agenda and everything. And also, just want to remind everyone that the COVID virus is still out there. It's going to be out there for quite some time. So please do your social distancing, and if you want to wear a mask, wear a mask. If you don't want to wear one, you can't force you to. But we had some numbers that really escalated last week, and I agree with Commissioner Davis. And I think those numbers would be a lot higher if we were testing more, because we're not testing as much.
We don't have the.
And it's scary not knowing what's going to happen with this virus. But I just want everyone to be safe and be very cautious where you go, and just try to be safe. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Davis.
Yes, got a couple of items. I live near 181 and I-10 and the 31 construction, and I'm here to report to you that the diverging diamond is working, and as we get more familiar with it, I think it'll work even better. The key is to know what lane to be in as early as you can, because if you're going north on 181 and you're in the left lane, you better be planning on going to Mobile, because that's where that lane's going to take you. Signage is going to be out there, and it's going to be better. I talked to Matt Erickson, and they've got a little more asphalt to put down, and then they're going to put the logos. I'm about having signs in the road. I don't want to be looking over here when I need to be looking this way. But my caution is to have your plan and know which lane you need to be in order to not be routed somewhere that you didn't intend to go. So the diverging diamond is something that we volunteered for. It moved us up a list from 37th to 3rd, and it's an improvement that's going to be greatly appreciated. Secondly, the census. I'm hoping everyone in here has already filled it out. I want to ask you to make sure that your neighbors have, and your family members have, and the people you go to church with, and the people you work with, because it is critical that we get an accurate count. Projections are that we'll be the 4th largest county in the state of Alabama. And with that becomes the opportunity to receive financial support from federal, state, and all kinds of agencies. We will be, after having our strategic plan meetings and ongoing discussions, we've got a number of projects that we need to have ready to present to state and federal agencies to show, because as we get bigger, we need to get better. Another point, customer service. I renewed my driver's license online. I'm 72 years old. I've got 2 telephones, and that's 2 more than I really feel comfortable dealing with. I don't know about how seniors feel, but when I can renew my driver's license online, doggone it, anybody can. And the things that we need to do customer service-wise are enable you to have access, get things done, not have to sit and wait 2 or 3 hours, being able to do appointments at the courthouses. Everybody that's had one tells me how much better it is. So we've got to move forward with customer service. Our millennials and our young folks, they expect it because they deal with it all the time. Us older ones, we'll have to adapt, but we've adapted before. The other thing is in November, there'll be a vote. You'll be seeing information about the extension of Baldwin Beach Express. It will be called BB2. There will be a campaign to communicate to every one of you. And we want you to get behind it and promote it, because it will enable us as a county to have traffic get off I-65, go due south to where Buc-ee's is now located, and help those 6.9 million tourists that come to our county get down there and back without disrupting our quality of life. We'll still have I-59. If you want to ride on it, you can, but you don't have to. So keep that in mind. And lastly, we need to be involved in things. Those of you that spent time to come here care about something. I want all of us to step back and look at what do we volunteer to do, what can we add to a situation, and what can we do to make things better. Because we're getting bigger. COVID paused it a little bit, but it didn't stop it. So my message has always been, as we get bigger, let's get better. And I'm pleased to be a small part of a great team. Mr. Gruber mentioned our staff. We've got wonderful people that stay on top of what's going on. And our job is to help direct that. They make the actual decisions. We just kind of help them have the resources. We need the citizens to be involved. And if you're not on a committee at some level, whether it's in your church, your schools, or your cities, look at being involved in it. Not to complain and fuss, that's easy, but to help come up with solutions and answers. Thank you very much.
Yes, Madam Chairman, I just reiterate everything that both of my colleagues have said up here. And another thing that I wanted just to bring to light is just some situations that's happened in our area here in the North Baldwin community. We've suffered some tragic losses of some young people since we last met with traffic accidents in North Baldwin and in the Spanish Fort area, Stapleton area. Just wanted to reiterate that the commission is behind, still praying for these families of these losses and are here for their support, and as well as dealing with the unexpected loss of one of our chamber directors' husbands last week. It's been a trying time for her and her family as well, and I just wanted to reiterate again, the commission is praying for that family and are here for any support that they need as well. And that's all I have.
Thank you. I'll wrap this up. I just want to say that we just came off a 4th of July weekend, and boy, I tell you, I don't know what it is, but I'm proud to be an American where at least I know I'm free. I never get tired of hearing those words. I never get tired of hearing the fireworks. I never get tired of all that. And so I am just so thankful, and I'm so proud to be an American. That gives me chill bumps just talking about it, and I hope it is to you as well, because it is something to be thankful for. And I also wanted to say that you guys showing up today here is what it's all about. You know, help us with, finding solutions to problems that we have. I ran for office because I wanted to help with some solutions to problems. And let me tell you, this is a job, and it's one job that I embrace, and I'm honored to serve you. And I also wanted to say that until something happens, a lot of times you really don't know what's going on. And you guys are probably experiencing that right now. I served on planning commissions for 22 years of my 52 years of life. I have given that time as public service. A lot of people don't like people on planning commissions because they think that you're for or against somebody, but I was an unbiased, neutral person the whole time that I served on planning commissions. That was my goal. I hope that people didn't interpret it the wrong way, but until you've been there, it's very, very hard to see how this kind of stuff goes down. So what I have experienced in all those 22 years is that usually until it's in your backyard or somewhere else, we go along and it doesn't matter. It does matter. It matters a lot. So we are growing rapidly here in Baldwin County, and more than just COVID numbers, we're growing in people. I think we have an average of about a dozen or more people that move to Baldwin County every single day to make this your permanent home. Those of us who have been here, like myself, 5th generation Baldwin County, and I think it is, I'm not sure, way back there in 1859, my grandma was born in Summerdale, so whatever. But anyhow, I just wanted to say that we have the opportunity in Baldwin County. It is not something that the commission can put on you, but it's something that is driven by the citizens. It is a citizen-driven process that if you live in the unincorporated areas of Baldwin County and you see things happening like high growth in your area, then you have an opportunity to come before and petition to have your area zoned. Now, does that mean that you or whoever, I'm not sure if the gentleman that left here is gone, but if you're farming, that's going to keep you from farming? No. Does it mean you can't have chickens in your backyard? No. What it means is you would be part of a process. It's citizen driven. So I don't say that the entire county needs to be zoned. We're a large land mass here in Baldwin County. But when I see situations like this, I want to encourage you, I want to challenge you to see if that is something that it may not solve an immediate problem, but we are looking for the future. Okay? I served on those planning commissions because I knew that if the Lord tarries, this earth's going to prevail a little bit longer than Billy Joe's going to live. And so that's my personal beliefs. So I just wanted to say that I would encourage you to not just live on your property and think everything's grand, because we've got to be involved and try to be part of solutions to problems that exist. We cannot put zoning on you, and nor would I want to if you didn't want it. But if a collective group of you wants that done, please inquire. We have a planning and zoning department here in Baldwin County. Our director's name is Vince Jackson. Please contact our administrator or one of us, and if you want some information about that, if you've already done that, then kudos to you. I'm proud to hear. But nonetheless, I just wanted you to know, I do care. I care about everybody. I wouldn't be in this position if I did not. And so, thank you. Anything else? Thank our staff for all they've done for us, and thank my fellow commissioners. And with that,
I'll make a motion, Madam Chairman.
okay, we have a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Adjourn, 10:07.